Have. Let me remove an obstacle.
Hope and this light, and he really sort of clings on to that.
I think the
And just what with that, Peter? Finally seen you muscle.
Blood of My Blood has reached a turning point where every hidden secret and every reckless decision is about to explode. Loyalties are breaking. Forbidden love is no longer safe in the shadows, and the fate of families will be sealed in ways no one expects. Episode 8 promises to be the moment where passion collides with politics and love turns into a dangerous weapon. The story of Episode 8 picks up with a storm that was quietly building now crashing down on the characters. Ellen McKenzie's name has already become a whisper in the Jacobite halls, and whispers during these times are more lethal than swords. What was once a private matter of the heart has now been turned into a public scandal, and Lord Lovat wastes no time in using this secret as a weapon. He knows the right people to inform, the right doubts to plant, and the right moment to strike. Ellen, who was once the strength of her family, now finds herself under suspicion, not because of her actions in politics, but because of the choices of her heart. The cruel irony is that while she was trying to protect her family from ruin, her own love story might be the spark that sets everything ablaze. Murdo, meanwhile, carries the weight of betrayal and heartbreak. His anger towards Brian in the last episode came from a place of love, not hatred. Now that the dust of violence has settled, he understands something deeper. Ellen and Brian's connection is real, undeniable, and perhaps stronger than anything he has ever witnessed. This realization forces him into a conflict of his own. Should he hold on to his pride and broken trust, or should he step aside and allow love to bloom even if it means losing everything he once valued? Episode 8 will see him torn between his loyalty to his best friend and his desire to protect Ellen from the cruelty that awaits her. This is not just about friendship or romance anymore. It's about survival. The Jacobite cause continues to swell like an unstoppable tide. Dual, stubborn and blind, commits himself fully to the rebellion, dragging the McKenzie family's reputation into dangerous waters. Colum, on the other hand, trembles in fear of losing everything, and yet does nothing but complain and hesitate. Ellen once again finds herself in the middle of their failures, trying to keep her family afloat while her brothers sink deeper into the storm. The meeting that was supposed to unite them instead divides them further. Dual pledges support, Colum withholds his strength, and Ellen is left to pick up the shattered pieces. Her decision to step into the Jacobite halls was meant to protect, but instead, it only exposed her more. And in the shadows, Lovat's men are always listening, always ready to twist her words into accusations that will haunt her. Brian's presence at the meeting only complicates matters. His loyalty to Ellen is obvious, but his recklessness is equally clear. Every glance, every subtle touch, every careless word makes their secret more visible. They are no longer two people in love hiding from the world. They are two rebels against the expectations of society, daring the world to notice. And notice the world does. Murdo, watching them, knows their love cannot be denied any longer. His acceptance will be the beginning of a new alliance, but one that comes with a heavy cost. For in this era, love is never just love. It is a declaration of war against the rules of families, clans, and kingdoms. As chaos takes hold of the meeting, Ellen and Brian's embrace becomes a symbol, not of passion, but of defiance. They stand together, ignoring the fact that they are being watched, ignoring the danger that hovers over them. This is love at its most reckless and most powerful. Yet it is also love at its most dangerous, for now Dual knows, Colum suspects, and Lovat confirms. The circle is closing in on them, and Ellen's name will not survive untouched. Henry's storyline also takes a dark turn in Episode 8. After his failed attempt to escape, he realizes that the chains binding him to this era are not just physical, but emotional. His heart still belongs to Julia, and every step away from her only drags him deeper into despair. Yet fate is not done with him. When he learns of Ellen's situation, he sees a reflection of his own pain. Two souls trapped by the cruelty of men, two hearts carrying the weight of impossible choices. Henry steps forward, not as a savior, but as a companion in suffering. And in this shared pain, Ellen finds a strange comfort. Their bond will grow, not out of love, but out of mutual survival. He will be the one to warn her of what is to come, the examination of her chastity, the humiliation planned to break her spirit. His warning becomes her last chance to prepare, but also his own path back to Julia. For through Ellen, he remembers why he must fight harder to reach the woman he truly loves. Julia, at the same time, uncovers the letters that confirm what her heart already knew. Henry is alive. The weight of this discovery collides with the reality of her new life. She is now Lord Lovat's wife, bound in name and bound in duty, with a child who has become the center of Lovat's ambitions. To the world, she is a mother and a wife. But in her heart, she remains Henry's beloved, waiting for the moment they will be reunited. Episode 8 will finally set the stage for this reunion, but it will not come without sacrifice. Lovat's power is vast, and his obsession with Julia's child will place her in a trap where love and duty are forced into direct conflict. What makes this episode truly haunting is not just the political twists or the battles of loyalty, but the sense that every character is standing on the edge of a cliff, unaware of how deep the fall will be. Ellen risks everything for love. Brian cannot hide his devotion. Murdo must face his own broken heart. Henry clings to hope, and Julia stands at the center of a storm she cannot control. Episode 8 is not just another chapter in their journey. It is the moment where the choices of passion and loyalty will either save them or destroy them completely. Episode 8 will not give anyone the comfort of peace. From the very beginning, the sense of danger is everywhere. The letters that expose Ellen's romance are already moving faster than anyone can stop them, and with each passing hour, her name is being whispered by powerful men who see her not as a woman, but as a pawn in their endless game of control. Lord Lovat's influence grows heavier, and his plan is clear: ruin Ellen's reputation so completely that she cannot resist his authority. He thrives on scandal, and the McKenzies have given him the perfect weapon. For Ellen, this is not just about survival anymore. It is about dignity, honor, and her ability to protect those she loves. Brian, however, continues to act on instinct rather than caution. His love for Ellen blinds him to the consequences of his actions. Where others see danger, he sees only the need to protect her and stand by her side. But his reckless devotion will cost them both. The tragedy of Brian's character is that his bravery is also his weakness. By standing too close, by speaking too loudly, by refusing to hide, he places a target not only on himself, but also on Ellen. In episode 8, his choices will push their love story into the open, forcing everyone around them to take a side. Love is no longer private. It has become a battlefield. Murdo's transformation will also be one of the most striking elements of this episode. The man who once lashed out in pain will now begin to see the bigger picture. His anger towards Brian softens when he realizes that Ellen's happiness depends on this relationship. For Murdo, letting go is not easy, but it becomes necessary. His loyalty to Ellen demands sacrifice, and that sacrifice may mean standing against his own instincts. By supporting Ellen and Brian, he chooses love over pride, friendship over betrayal. Yet this choice also isolates him. In a world where alliances are fragile and betrayals are common, Murdo's decision to protect them will mark him as vulnerable. And vulnerability in this game is dangerous. Meanwhile, Dual's reckless pledge to fund the rebellion shakes the foundation of the McKenzie family. His pride disguises itself as bravery, but everyone can see the truth. He is a fool leading his house into ruin. Colum, paralyzed by fear, does nothing but argue. And Ellen, once again, must pick up the burden that her brothers cannot carry. Episode 8 will show her strength more clearly than ever. She is not simply a sister or a lover. She is the backbone of her family, the one who steps forward when the men falter. Yet her strength comes at a cost. Every decision she makes pulls her deeper into danger, and every sacrifice she offers strips away another piece of her safety. The Jacobite cause looms larger as these family conflicts unfold. The rebellion is no longer a distant threat. It is an unavoidable reality. Men are pledging loyalty, money is being promised, and betrayal lingers in every corner. Ellen's presence at the meeting was meant to save her family from destruction, but instead, it has dragged her further into the center of the conflict. Episode 8 makes it clear that she cannot escape the tide. Whether she chooses to stand with Brian, protect her brothers, or fight against Lovat, every path leads to sacrifice. Henry's struggle also deepens in this episode. His failed escape leaves him with nothing but despair, and yet in that despair, he discovers purpose. His bond with Ellen is born from pain, but it becomes a light for both of them. He recognizes in her the same suffocating trap that he himself feels, and this recognition sparks his determination to fight again. His warning about the examination that awaits Ellen is not just an act of kindness. It is his way of fighting back against the cruelty of this world. Henry's compassion reminds Ellen that she is not alone, even as she faces humiliation and danger. And through her, Henry rediscovers his connection to Julia. Every word, every glance between them reminds him of what he must return to, of the love that still burns for him. Julia's discovery of Henry's letters adds another layer of suspense. She now knows he is alive, and that knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. As Lovat's wife, she cannot act freely. Every move she makes is watched, every decision judged. Her son is the key to Lovat's ambitions, and Julia is chained by the role of being his mother. Yet her heart beats for Henry, and her discovery of the letters reignites her hope. The anticipation of their reunion builds throughout episode 8, but that reunion comes with impossible choices. To be with Henry, she may have to sacrifice her role as a mother. To protect her son, she may have to sacrifice her love. And in this cruel balance, Julia's tragedy becomes one of the most powerful elements of the story. What makes episode 8 so gripping is that it refuses to give clear victories. Every character is forced into impossible decisions, and every choice comes with consequences that ripple far beyond themselves. Ellen's defiance may save her family's name, but it could destroy her future. Brian's love may protect her in the moment, but it might doom them both. Murdo's loyalty may heal old wounds, but it leaves him open to betrayal. Dual's recklessness may fuel the rebellion, but it could also wipe out his family. Henry's compassion may guide Ellen, but it also drags him deeper into a fight he cannot win. And Julia's hope may bring her closer to Henry, but it threatens to tear apart everything else she holds dear. The suspense lies not in whether these characters will act, but in what their actions will cost. The beauty of Blood of My Blood is that it shows us love not as a gentle force, but as a fire that consumes. It can warm, it can protect, but it can also destroy. Episode 8 places every character in the flames, and none of them will escape unscathed. As episode 8 unfolds, the pressure on Ellen McKenzie reaches a breaking point. The letter that Lord Lovat sent to Malcolm Grant spreads like wildfire, and with it, Ellen's carefully built reputation begins to collapse. What was once whispered in corridors now becomes the subject of open speculation. For a woman in her position, there is no greater danger. A single rumor can strip away her honor, her influence, and even her safety. And this is not just gossip, it is a calculated attack. Lovat knows exactly how to break her, and he is relentless. The threat of a public examination of her chastity is not just cruel, it is humiliating beyond measure. Ellen, who has fought so fiercely to protect her family, must now fight to protect herself from a trial designed only to shame her. Brian stands at her side, determined to shield her from the storm, but his devotion is both a blessing and a curse. Every time he steps forward to defend her, he confirms the very rumors that endanger her. His love is pure, but in this brutal world, purity is not protection, it is fuel for scandal. Episode 8 forces Brian to realize that love requires more than courage. It requires strategy. Yet his heart often wins over his head, and that makes their struggle even more tragic. The more he loves Ellen openly, the more he exposes her to danger. For Ellen, the heartbreak lies not in loving Brian, but in knowing that their love, so genuine and undeniable, may be the very weapon her enemies use to destroy her. Murdo's journey takes on a quiet but powerful role in this episode. He has already confronted the pain of betrayal, and now he must transform that pain into purpose. By choosing to support Ellen and Brian, he steps into a role he never expected, not as a rival, but as a guardian. Yet this shift comes with its own cost. Murdo knows the clan does not forgive weakness, and his decision to back the forbidden romance could turn others against him. Still, he makes his choice, because to betray Ellen now would be to betray himself. His growth is subtle, but deeply moving. In a world defined by politics and betrayal, Murdo stands as proof that loyalty and sacrifice can still exist, even if they come with suffering. The McKenzie brothers remain at the heart of the political storm. Duval continues his reckless march toward rebellion, throwing wealth and support into a cause he barely understands. His pride makes him blind, and his actions endanger not only himself, but everyone tied to the McKenzie name. Colum, in contrast, cowers in fear, unwilling to act but quick to condemn. The contrast between them highlights the impossible burden Ellen carries. Her brothers either fight blindly or refuse to fight at all, leaving her once again as the only true strategist in the family. Episode 8 shows how fragile the McKenzie house has become. Too weak to stand united, too divided to survive alone. Henry's role in this episode deepens as he becomes the bearer of difficult truths. His warning to Ellen about the examination is not just information, it is a lifeline. In sharing it, Henry exposes his own vulnerability, showing Ellen that he, too, is trapped by forces larger than himself. Their bond is not romantic, but it is essential. Both are outcasts in their own ways, both carrying secrets, both struggling to hold on to hope. Through Ellen, Henry remembers why he cannot give up. He must reach Julia. He must fight for the love he once thought was lost. Ellen, in turn, finds strength in Henry's determination, realizing that even in her darkest hour, she is not alone. This connection between them becomes one of the most compelling threads of the episode, tying Ellen's survival to Henry's quest for reunion. Julia's storyline carries the emotional weight of episode 8. Discovering Henry's letters is both a gift and a curse. The knowledge that he is alive gives her hope, but it also deepens her torment. She is Lord Lovat's wife now, bound by duty and trapped by his ambitions for their son. The thought of reuniting with Henry feels like a dream, and yet the possibility burns within her. The audience is forced to confront the impossible choices ahead. Can Julia abandon her child to be with Henry? Can she betray Lovat and risk his wrath? Can she balance love and motherhood in a world that allows her no freedom? The anticipation of Julia and Henry's reunion grows stronger, but so too does the shadow of the sacrifice it will require. The political backdrop makes everything more volatile. The Jacobite rebellion is no longer a distant threat, but a force pulling every character into its orbit. The pledges, the betrayals, the secret alliances, they all converge in episode 8. Ellen's scandal becomes a tool for political maneuvering, Brian's loyalty becomes a risk to the rebellion, Murdo's choices leave him vulnerable, and the McKenzie brothers drag their family further into chaos. Every character is now tied to the rebellion in one way or another, whether by choice, by love, or by force. Episode 8 thrives on suspense because it refuses to offer safety. Every scene pushes the characters closer to the edge, and every decision feels like a step into the unknown. Ellen is cornered, Brian is reckless, Murdo is conflicted, Henry is desperate, and Julia is torn apart. Their struggles weave together into a tapestry of love, betrayal, and survival. The tragedy is not that they are weak, but that they are human. And in this world, humanity is dangerous. By the end of the episode, one truth becomes clear. No one can escape unscathed. The rebellion will claim its price, the scandals will ruin reputations, and love will cost more than anyone imagined. Blood of My Blood episode 8 is not just another chapter. It is the moment when every hidden truth comes into the light, when passion collides with power, and when sacrifice becomes inevitable. The audience is left with one haunting question: who will endure, and who will be destroyed by the very love they hold so dearly?